what is our dominant way of looking at the world? You could be let's say, a more rationalistic type person. An example of this in modern philosophy would be Rene Descartes. Or you could have a more abstract way of looking at the world. And someone who embodies this for me is Kierkegaard, who had an interesting leap of faith philosophy to combat existential dread. The existentialists sort of evolved or opened the door for phenomenalism, which is not so much categorizing the way we categorizing the world as a thing in and of itself, but a system that takes into account the fact that things are more episodic or event-based. Not only that we are a part of it. The existentialists definitely brought into the picture the individual. And for someone like Kierkegaard, we focused maybe on the strengths and weaknesses of the individual person. And you can take someone who's also an existentialist like Nietzsche, who maybe took it to its logical conclusion in a self-motivated sense to a political end, which arguably opened the door for certain atheistic political practices, not the least being the Nazi regime. My point is extrapolating things out too far, too deep into some speculative realm from either a rationalist, empiricist, or even existential perspective, removes us from the real event that we're experiencing now. So Nietzsche's thing, for instance, was a will to power and purging oneself of weakness. While, again, this may have opened the door to a very nefarious agenda, it is also a necessary and empowering practical philosophy for one to pull him or herself up from the bootstraps and make something of this life. It's easy to get bogged down with belief in something that is maybe intangible. It is easy to get wrapped up in one's opinions. For instance, political preference, and lose sight of, let's say, relationships that do have real bearing and are something that we can positively affect. So if we're doing anything in this life, I think it's getting creative, in the positive changes we make in the world. So we have these moments where we want something and we can't see that it's right in front of our face. For instance, at the bank this morning, I'm withdrawing money and ask for an envelope, and she says it's right there in front of you. So ask and you shall receive. The other side of that is train yourself to look for what you're asking. It's all too easy to ignore the blessings and opportunities and personal and professional connections that already exist within reach. It's kind of like the music and art thing for me. You might have this idea of exploitation, and that idea of exploitation takes you down a very narrow, let's say rationalistic XYZ tunnel, and you're projecting deep into the future on very calculated variables. So you're basically extracting from your imagination this individual that would be beneficial for you, either on a personal level, let's say a romantic partner, or on a professional level, maybe a community partner that whose partnership benefits you predominantly. You probably already have or could easily attract the people that you need. But a lot of the times we don't think in terms of what we need to go to the next step. We're not worried about today, we're worried about 10 years from now, which is good in a sense. But start with today. I think your needs will be met and you'll be much happier. And then once you get your present days into a state of financial and emotional stability, and you focus not so much on your intellectualizing of your career path, but volunteering in your own life, you will become aware of the people and places and things that are here to support you. So when I say get creative, I don't so much mean dig deep to build a business plan that exploits things in your favor. It might work in one dimension but not another. Reality is not so much categorical as the rationalist would tell you. It's more dimensional, and you're going to sacrifice certain things to get other things if you project too deeply into an unforeseeable future. I would suggest keeping your feet on the ground. In terms of creativity, keeping your eyes open, and that means something new every day. And you're going to know what that means based on what you are desiring. So instead of silencing your wants, try to hone in on your needs. See what they're telling you. Then open your ears, open your eyes, and with gratitude and appreciation, focus on the people and professional relationships that are presenting themselves to you. See how you can, in your charitable nature, help them. And on an even playing field, how maybe they can help you, but maybe don't make that your primary concern. If there are two ways of looking at the universe, I would say that they are charitable or predatory. And I think both are true enough based on your mental state. So today, make a choice whether or not you want to be a volunteer in the present day, in the moment, with those around you. Or if you want to exploit innocence and the good nature of others